Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to another Wolf's Ritual Night. Hey, Ro. Come here, buddy. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Tonight, we're going to be honoring some pretty interesting deities. We've got Tyr, Thor, Hel, and a goddess not often talked about, Nott. It's a goddess of night. There's a very specific reason we're doing this. Recently, the Supreme Court overturned the Roe versus Wade decision from about 25 years ago. And it's got a lot of people very nervous. It's got a lot of people very scared. I don't like that. I don't like the people in my community worrying about whether or not they're going to be safe in the decisions that they may be forced to face, sometimes against their will. A person with the uterus's right to choose is a fundamental part of being a human with bodily autonomy. And I think the gods would agree with that. You can disagree, it's fine. There's a pretty good amount of lore that would probably back that up, though. The gods aren't one to usually come down and force you to do something against your will. So tonight, we've got a very intense ritual, and I do mean intense. I actually kind of caution you before you watch this. I get pretty deep. I get pretty dark. It's not going to be pretty, the things that I say. So just mentally prepare yourselves for that. But we do get hopeful in the end. We call on the gods to ask for help. We call on our community to stand together, be strong. And I do encourage you to stick around to the end. There's actually some pretty interesting things that take place at the very end of the ritual. I don't want to spoil it, but there were over 200 people at the ritual live when it took place, and they all saw it, and I happened to catch it on camera. It was, for us, a clear indication that the gods are at least listening. They heard. And maybe some of the things that took place at the end of the ritual would apply well to the country as a whole. I'm going to leave that for y'all to figure out. But here's this intense ritual. I hope you guys get something out of it. I hope it helps. Remember, go big or go home. Welcome, everyone. If this is your first prayer night, this is probably one hell of a night to tune in, but welcome all the same. I'll be doing a follow the leader kind of deal, where we have certain things to offer and certain prayers to make, and you can follow along, and if you feel comfortable, you can pray what I pray and offer when I offer. Now, I know some of you might not have the things we're offering, and that is all right. Make substitutions as you see fit, and if you have none, that is all right too. I'll offer enough as a whole, and I'm sure to cover any of those of you who are unable to offer. Today we will be offering to a few different gods. Tyr, or Tu, as you may know him, is a complicated god, who we know enough about historically to make him interesting. With him are the qualities of truth, justice, direction, and leadership, which we need a little more of these days. Common UPG of Tyr is his stern, older uncle vibes that he gives off. He is rough, like the scratch of a new stubble from a day-old shaven beard. He will use that toughness to rake you like an iron sword against the grindstone. It will be tough. It will be hard. But just as methodically moving a blade across the whetstone sharpens the tool, so too will Tyr sharpen you. Also, we will offer to Thor, or Thunor, as you may know him. Thor is a god of protection for us. He fights for us, fights the forces that seek us harm, and helps to maintain the balance of the world. He is the defender of the gods and humankind alike. And in these days, things are more than a little unbalanced, and with the world getting darker, we seek his protection. Common UPG is that Thor gives off a warm, big brother vibe. His kindness is often felt in the form of a giant firm hand on your shoulder, gripping just tight enough that you feel the pressure alone can keep you together when you most feel like falling apart. His mighty strength is useful for lifting us all up when we fall to our knees, tired and worn down from the world. Anytime you find yourself low, look up and take comfort in his red, bearded face grinning down at you, ready to pull you to your feet and stand back to back, prepared to help you fight whatever trouble ails you. We also offer to Nott, or you may know her as Night. She is the goddess of night, the goddess of darkness, the bringer of dreams. In these dark times, we call to her as well to be our guide. Who better to lead in darkness than the mistress of shadows? Some UPG for her is that she is aloof and short of answer, but straightforward, lying matter of fact, ready to help when able. When the sun sets and things creep toward us in our blind spots, Nott is there in the shade, fighting what we cannot see. When our eyes close at night and the terrors of reality creep into our dreams, she pulls at the edges of our imaginations and staves off the gloom that threatens to consume us. When we are about to stumble in the darkness, it is by her hand that we steady ourselves. When we must hide from the oppressive shadows, it is by her will that our steps stay quiet. And last, and often too overlooked, Hel, the goddess with the name of the same domain. Perhaps you know her by the name Hela. In whatever the case, Hel is a goddess that has become important in the practices of many heathens in recent years. Common UPG is that Hel is a motherly figure. She takes in everyone who travels into the next life after this one concludes, and does not discriminate or turn away anyone who finds her door. She spends much of her time preparing places for those on their way, and sometimes meeting them on the path to her gates, and walking with them as they travel. Though she is a goddess of the dead, she is but a caretaker, not a bringer of. Here in life, she gives us peace of mind that no matter what there is, someone who cares and is working hard for us. Sometimes that peace extends physically, and moments of relief can be felt throughout the body. These are the gods and goddesses we will be reaching out to tonight. I will not sugarcoat it. There is no denying that we are in dark times, and they are getting darker still. Literally and figuratively, the world is in twilight. On the most literal level, we are headed into the dark time of the year. With midsummer behind us, the dark outweighs the light. When everyone has a little harder time keeping the brightness in their lives. But that is only the barest tip of the issue. Not a person among us is untouched by the unescapable melancholy of knowing too much, of being burdened by the knowledge of our own downfall. Mankind is making the world unlivable, not for future generations, but the current one. We will live to see the fall of our own way of life, the fall of our civilization as we know it. This pain we collectively feel, they don't even call it depression. They call it grief. We are grieving, in mourning, for the loss of the future we once thought we would have. There comes infrequent times in the lives of some people who must live through, who must endure, who must persevere through dark times. We are not the first who have lived through such times, and we will not be the last. Living in the last rays before twilight, knowing the night is coming, it is hard, but this task has fallen upon us to persevere through the grief, through the darkness. We must find a path forward, because gods know our leaders won't do it for us. We must find footing in the dark and unknown and stay sure of foot. We must pick up the pieces and build anew when things crumble. We must persevere through the darkness, through the dark times. This is not the end. The gods stand behind us. They lend us strength, wisdom, healing, tenacity, knowledge, rage, compassion. Our ancestors have been through as much and more, and they made it far enough that we could stand here today together. This community stands together in defiance of hatred, bigotry, discrimination, ignorance, and all things unjust. Everything we do together, we do with the intention of making the world a better place for all people who agree with the aforementioned poison has no place in heathenry, paganism, or the world in general. We hold the shield wall, not just online, but in our in-person communities. We must carry the torches together, keeping the darkness at bay. When one flame looks like it may flicker out, we must reach out to our fellow and put our torch to theirs to make sure one flame feeds another. When we gather the light we put off, we will shine bright enough to protect everyone standing side by side against the darkness that would dare swallow us. No one fighting injustice should ever stand alone. As long as you are on the side of justice, I promise to stand with you today, tomorrow, and onward. And for that, for all of that, this day we turn to the gods for guidance and strength, so that when we stand, we do it steadfast and tall on the proper path that leads us to victory. So, everyone, take a nice deep breath and hold it in. And release it. Shake your shoulders, let them hang loose. You're tense, unclench your jaw, and get into the frame of religious thought. Let us begin. First, I focus on my pyre and get it lit. Then I will hallow our space. You may repeat after me if you care to. May the gods guide us. May our oaths keep us. May our deeds free us. May our ancestors aid us always. May the gods banish all ill and wrong from around us, and may the blessings of the gods be over our heads. So let it be. If you have them, take your offerings and set them before the fire, and let them become the focus for you for our next prayers. We should turn our thoughts and offer a prayer to the gods. You may repeat after me if you care to. Tyr, one-headed god. Two to the English. God of the North Star. guide and guardian, leader and warrior, God of the thing, binder of the wolf, truthful and honorable, shaper and maker, once high king, we welcome you among us tonight. Thor, thunderer, Thunor to the English, God of thundering storms, protector of humankind, strongest of all the gods, wielder of Mjolnir, mighty striker, big brother to us all, shield against that which would harm. We welcome you among us tonight. Not, night goddess, night to the English, dream weaver, Draman Yoran, shrouded goddess, masked, hooded, Grimu. Darkness you are called, Njol, bringer of the night, shade stalker, shadow walker. We welcome you among us tonight. Hel, keeper of the halls of Helheim, host to our ancestors, keeper of the dead, she who accepts all, lady in blue, all who come to her, you to whom all will go, guardian of the grave, mother of souls, preparer of the mound, goddess of the evergreen lands, we call to you as well tonight. To Tyr I ask for guidance, for truth and justice to prevail, to be shown the way forward. To Thor I ask for protection, as I go forward through these days, for times have been troubled. To Nott I ask for gentle nights, for your protection through the dark times, for my feet to step surely and safely. To Hel I ask nothing at all, but I give. I give so that you who care for all the fallen are not forgotten, and you too are gifted. Gods and goddesses, hail! Lend me the strength. Lend me the perseverance. Lend me the courage to face the uncertain days ahead, to face the trials of disease, to face the trials of injustice, to face the unknown, to face the grief, to face the darkness. So let it be. Now, we offer a prayer to all the gods. You may once again repeat after me if you would like to. Gods, seen and unseen, heard and unheard, known and unknown, spoken and unspoken, named and unnamed. We ask that if you have a hand in the matters of health, that you treat those of us here and those we love with gentle hands, with care and compassion. So let it be. And now I will pour out my water into my bowl. You may once again repeat after me if you would like to. From the gods to the earth, to us. from us to the earth, to the gods. A gift has been given, so let it be. Ritual has ended. Now, yes, that was a glass container, and the heat made the glass too hot and it shattered. That is normal. However, that glass container was designed to hold heavy heat. That's why I used it. The heat may have been too much for it, and probably would have broken no matter what. But the timing is very interesting. It's good to be skeptical when things happen that can be interpreted spiritually. But due to the spiritual context, it is not unreasonable to assume divine miracles. At the end of the day, it is ultimately up to how it made you feel. For me, I believe they were listening. I believe they heard us. And I believe things are coming. Let me know what you think. Until next time, go big or go home.